All right, what's up, guys, and welcome to today's live trading room here at Fibers. Let me know if the sound is. Oh, what a beautiful name! Welcome, Jonatan. Welcome. Let me know if the sound is okay, the quality, everything's good. While I'm gonna set up the screen and everything. Let's see. I'm gonna add my screen here and change the layout here and everything. And let me know if everything looks good. And let me know where you guys are from. So let's. I want to know where you guys are from. Let's see how global this trading community is. Crystal clear. Sounds good. Beautiful. Let's get this going. So today we are going to talk about Bitcoin, right? But this is also, this is a live trading room. So of course we are. I'm also going to go through the pairs that we looked at yesterday. Kind of update you guys on all the trades we looked at yesterday. All right, so we got Philadelphia, Netherlands, New York, Puerto Rico. That's awesome. Denmark. Hello, my fellow Scandinavian. I guess you're like on the border, ish. Anyway, let's go through the ideas that we looked at yesterday. And are you guys in the trades? Let me know. I would be awesome to, if you can let me know if you are in any trades at this very moment. And I might look at it and see if, so if you give me the pair and direction, I might look at it and see if I could find an entry on that myself. Let's start with just going through the setups from yesterday before we go into Bitcoin. So we got Euro JPY. Now, if you watched the live stream yesterday, this is interesting. Bitcoin buy and gold sell. This is very, very interesting. Well, I'll keep that in mind and I will look at that. So just a few minutes, we'll go through the Forex pairs and then we'll jump straight into Bitcoin and I will show you in my opinion, an awesome thing that you can use in the high time frames to pinpoint not pinpoint, but really to get a good idea of where the tops and the bottoms for the overall Bitcoin bull market is. You're in Euro USD long. Yeah, let's look at that one as well. We wanted to long that one yesterday. Did not turn out very well though. Maybe have a better position today. Let's start with Euro JPY. If you watched the live stream yesterday that I did with Saul, I showed you this range and I talked about how this could potentially be a breakout of this range, but I wanted to see some extra confirmation. And the confirmation that I was looking for was, this was the fake out, and I was then looking for some sort of bounce here and then a break above that 50% fib. Let me zoom in so you can really get a good idea of what I'm talking about. So I wanted to see a break above the 50 right here. And that would kind of confirm that we might have another breakout on Euro JPY. That never happened, and we are now inside this range again. Would I short this? I'm not really sure if I'm interested in shorting this at this point, but it does look like it does look quite likely that we might be heading down to this. Let's call it actually it is the range EQ, the middle of the range. Now go back to the daily and we see this range right here, and it kind of it feels like it's acting like a magnet, right? It feels like price is getting pulled into that level. And if you look at price action, if you look at the 4-hour on the local, to the very right of our chart here, we have a level here on the 4-hour. These two candles right here lines quite nicely on the 1-hour as well. Let's go down all the way to the 15-minute. So you're seeing here I'm all over the time frames here. Let me know with what time frame you guys are trading on mostly, because I'm when mostly my two time frames I'm focused on. My main time frame is the 4 hour, and I'm using the daily time frame as my high time frame bias to make sure I'm trading with the trend. But in these scenarios, I tend to also go down to the lower time frames. I can even go down to the 1 minute, but preferably I'd like to stay on the 15 minutes. But here we are now down at the 50 minutes. So we looked at the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and we're now down at the 15 minutes. And this looks like a level we could play with if we want to get if we want to go short. So we have a decent level here for potential break lower. And then on the 1 hour, I would simply use TP somewhere around here, kind of front running that overall range EQ level. What would be the entry trigger for this? Let's go down to the 5 minute. Let's extend this zone a little bit to include the 5 minute candle closes. And then we'll lower the zone just to make sure we have like most, I'm kind of like in that level, right? So if we can get a, this is not the, in my opinion, not the optimal way of trading this, but I would, in all honesty, I'm probably not going to be trading Euro JPY today because of how the daily looks. But if you're interested in trading this, I would either wait for a like a 15 minute candle close below for the break lower, or you go down to the 5 minute or even the 1 minute and you look for that the break and retest. So now we're getting the breakdown, and then we would want to have a retest somewhere. Now it doesn't really matter where price is retesting the level. We want to make sure that we have good confirmation at the retest, so rounded retest, and perhaps some good confirmation for a short here would probably be a bearish engulfing candle or something like that. So that's Euro JPY. Then we have AUD CAD, and we did look for potential short on AUD CAD. It never really broke down the way we wanted, but there is still, in my opinion, a possibility of a potential short coming up on AUD CAD. So what that would look like is basically a break below these levels. And I would look for something that would signal a change in behavior. So what you're seeing right now is you're seeing these bounces right here. What I would like to see is something like this, right? And then a rejection here, and I would go short down here. Basically, the same exact setup. But I'm not going to enter this for one very simple reason. See that dotted line right there? That is the daily 50 EMA. And the daily 50 EMA, it kind of, if the daily 50 EMA was down here, then yeah, absolutely I would short this. But now it feels like I'm basically selling straight into support, which is never a good idea. So let's wait with that one. Let's add an alert here because maybe we'll see something interesting. Euro AD. This is the idea we looked at yesterday, where we wanted to see a break and retest of this level right here, and it kind of looks like we might get that. So I'm going to add an alert right here for potential breakout, and that would be a break and retest trade on Euro AD. Should probably take this on the 1 hour or the 15 minutes. So it looks pretty good, right? We have a local, like a nice local uptrend here. If this 15-minute trend can continue to the upside, I do have a feeling that we might get a low time frame break and retest of the middle of the range for a move up to range highs right here. Still, we're in range, but in theory, this would still be a trend following setup, with the fact that we're doing the break and retest in a local trend, if you will. But of course, when looking at the higher time frames, we don't really have that that high time frame bias on our side. And next up is AUD NCD. Now, we looked at a potential short on AUD NCD yesterday. So I said, if we If we break below this level, I would be looking for a short down to this level down here. But the problem is I never really had the break and retest that I wanted to see. So if you look at this price action right here, that's the type of reaction I wanted to see, but up here. So if you had something like this, a breakdown and then that rejection, now look at this candle right here. That candle is just a beautiful bearish engulfing candle on the 15-minute. If you just copy and paste this price action, but up into this area, that would have been a beautiful, beautiful trade. And then finally, before we move on to Bitcoin and the high time frame analysis, the S&P 500. Both me and Saul, we talked about how we had a good level to the downside here. So first we looked at the daily and we looked at how we have a good level here and it looked probable for price to come and test this level. However, I was seeing a double bottom, a W structure on the 4-hour, and I said if the neckline of the W breaks to the upside, we're most likely coming up and testing the weekly open. So let's see what happened. We had that W structure right here. That's the W structure. What happened was we broke the neckline of that W, and that took us straight to the monthly open, almost straight to the monthly open. It got rejected right before hitting that monthly open, as price often does. So all in all, our analysis from yesterday turned out, most of the ideas turned out well. It's just that we never got an entry trigger. And I'm sure most of you can relate to this because technical analysis isn't really that hard. It's just the trading part that's really hard, the execution part. You can look at a trend and say, this is an uptrend, it's probably going to continue to the upside. And then next week you can say, wow, look at that, I'm right. Well, duh, it's an uptrend, it's probably going to continue, right? But did you enter? Did you make any money on that trade? That's the question. And that's trading. That's the difference between analyzing the markets and actually trading, which is much, much different. With that said, let's look at Bitcoin. So as promised, I will show you my technique for trading Bitcoin on the higher time frames and knowing when the possible bottoms and tops in the market come in. And also, I would like to ask you guys a question, a favor. First of all, I would be very grateful if you can hit that like button. A small gesture from you, but it helps a lot. It helps us a lot. It helps the channel a lot. And also, write in the comments what do you think are your biggest problems in trading. I wanted to write your biggest problems in trading. What are the things that you struggle most in, preferably with technical analysis? Because what you're struggling with and your problems, most likely I can help you with a solution on that. And that will be the base and the foundation for the educational content that we're going to be creating here at the Fivers, because we're here to help you. We're here to give you guys the tools necessary to take your trading to the next level and become consistently profitable. So it would be really good if I would know, like if I could know what you need help with, and I will then structure future content to help you guys specifically. Okay, so we have two things I want to show you today. And that is first, something called the MVRVC score. And then we have the net unrealized profit and loss, the NUPL. So you can just Google this. You can Google Bitcoin NUPL and Bitcoin MVRVC score. The charts are available at different places. I'm using a website called Look Into Bitcoin. I'm not affiliated with them. And also important to remember when we're looking at Bitcoin, and remember that I'm not giving you buy and sell signals here. I'm not giving you advice on what to buy or what to sell. This is strictly informational and for educational purposes. You always need to do your own due diligence, and the Bitcoin is an extremely risky asset. It's highly volatile. I've seen a lot of people come, I've seen a lot of people go in the crypto market, and lots of people seem to think that if they just put a lot of money in Bitcoin, they'll become rich. Well, we all know that it's not that simple. So let me show you the overall idea here for this strategy. So I'm not going to go into detail on exactly what the MBRVC score is, but yeah, the next halving, so we can talk about that at different time, but definitely like the halving for Bitcoin, it's coming up. Oh God, I can't remember, so I'm not gonna say anything. But usually, prior to the halving, you'll have some insane price action. I do believe we are seeing that right now. And obviously, this run that we're seeing right now for Bitcoin is obviously fueled also by the rumors of a spot ETF being approved officially. So yeah, but what's interesting here is all of these fundamental triggers or macro events that seem to create the bottom for Bitcoin has every time it has happened inside the green area for the MBRVC score. Okay. So where was the beginning of the bull run that led up to the insane run in 2017? Well, it was here, right? And then the bull run, the last bull run, you could have entered, like that was the COVID crash. So right when we tipped into the or just dipped our toes into the green zone right here, that was the very bottom of the COVID crash. So we can look at that, and that's going to be that one right there. Okay, so that's the COVID crash. And if you look at the top at the MBRVC score, we entered the red zone. So let me zoom in and we'll see exactly when we entered. We entered on December 5, 2017. December 5, 2017. No, wait, I'm looking at the wrong time frame. So let me reload the screen and we'll do that again. Where was the COVID? Yeah, COVID bottom, and then we entered up here. So February 21. February 21. When is that? November. So right here we have the MBRVC score entering the red zone, and that was when it entered the green zone. So just by buying when Bitcoin enters the green zone and selling when it enters the red zone, you would have been up at least 900% on that whole move. Now that's insane, right? And it's just so simple. Now look at what happened this time around. So now we want to look at, I wish I could have like reloaded, gone back when, let me just reload everything to see if that works. So now what I want to show you is, and if you've been following me on Twitter, I've been posting I've been posting about Bitcoin since 2017, and all the tops and all the bottoms. I've been talking, like I'm giving very clear details on my plans on when to exit and when to enter. And if you've been following me, you know that we started accumulating Bitcoin when it entered the MBRVC score, and when it got down below 20k, and that was when the FTX situation happened. So if you go to Bitcoin here. And this is great information, by the way. So if you have more problems that you're thinking about, let me know in the comments. So trading psychology, definitely, I think one of the biggest biggest things in trading, one of the most important things. Definitely going to be focusing a lot of that. And so yeah, let me know if there's anything specific with technical analysis. Just write in the comments, let me know. And don't forget to hit that like button. Right. So Bitcoin entered the MVRBC score right around this time when you had the FTX fiasco, the FTX collapse. So first I believe we had Luna here. So this was when the Luna stablecoin collapsed. We had that massive breakdown, and then we had FTX happening right here, and we also broke below that 20K. And this was actually also when Bitcoin entered the MVRVC score, and that's when I started accumulating Bitcoin. One of the reasons also why I started accumulating Bitcoin is the whole idea here is to combine the MVRVC score with the net unrealized profit and loss with price action. So the first check, right, is the MVRVC score enters the green zone. And then the net unrealized profit and loss is in the capitulation phase. So right around the same time, so that you can see that down move here as well, that's the FTX collapse. So you see that when the net unrealized profit and loss entered the capitulation phase, that's the same time as the MVRVC score entered the green zone. And here's another important aspect is the fib of this whole up move right here. What happened here was in the beginning of the FTX collapse, we entered the RLZ. That's the reload zone. And what that means is basically is the area between the 0.786 fib and the 0.618 fib. So when Bitcoin enters the reload zone on the higher time frames, so basically what I'm doing is I'm using the low and the high as fib anchors of the low and the high of the recent bull run of for the fib anchors, and then now Bitcoin entered that reload zone. And also, of course, important is the like the major highs here, the 2017 highs, because I believe that the bull run in 2017 that really put Bitcoin on the map. That is a very strong support level, psychologically very strong level, that 20K. So when we broke below 20K, a lot of people panicked, right? But if you knew this is when you started accumulating. Now, you start accumulating when Bitcoin goes into the reload zone, when the MVRVC score is in the green area, and when net unrealized profit and loss is in the capitulation phase. But that doesn't confirm the bull market, okay? Now, in my opinion, what confirms the bull market is when price starts to exit the MVRVC score and forms a bullish market structure. So what I did and what I'm going to do the next time this happens is I start accumulating when Bitcoin checks all these criterias, and then I start to accelerate that accumulation or add leverage when we form a bullish market structure. And one final thing I do is I want to add the 50 EMA on the daily. So I go into trading view here and I type in exponential, moving average exponential. And let's change the 9 to 50. And now you'll see the daily 50 EMA right here. So now you see that prices, and the way I look at the moving averages is kind of like there's a buffer zone around it. Just like the way you add a horizontal line, you want to make sure it's not just a line. You want to make sure it's a actually horizontal zone. So you can see here that prices kind of using the daily 50 as, or the area around the daily 50 as some sort of resistance here, creating that downtrend with the lower highs and lower lows. Now, here's something interesting. This high is higher than this area, and this high higher than that high, and then a higher low. So at this stage, if ignoring that type of price action, at this stage, you would say, all right, Bitcoin is now exiting the MVRVC score. We're using the midpoint of the reload zone as support, and we're forming a bullish market structure, and we are above the daily 50 EMA. This is where I would accelerate my accumulation on Bitcoin. If I haven't met my max accumulation target for Bitcoin at this point, I take that slider up to 100% and I start buying my full accumulation position for Bitcoin. And when we start forming this structure, this is and we're above the daily 50, this is also where I start adding leverage, right? Where I start to really maximize the potential of this position. And then once we have exited the reload zone, we're now all in. Okay, this is now where we should be fully filled on our long-term position. And long-term, I'm thinking, this was, I believe, a 1-year accumulation phase where we had a full year of buying Bitcoin. So there's no excuses here. If you had this, if you knew this last year and the year before, you had a lot of time to accumulate Bitcoin. Now, is it too late to enter Bitcoin now? Is it too late to fill up on that long-term position on Bitcoin? Yes, of course it is. The bottom of Bitcoin has already happened, right? However, there is a lot of opportunities on the lower time frames and the mid time frame to ride this trend, because we now know that Bitcoin is in a massive bull market. And what we want to do now is we want to flip this all around, and we want to see, like, how can we use the exact same method of selling the top, not pinpointing the top exactly, but to sell the top. Because honestly, you don't have to pinpoint the top exactly on Bitcoin, because if you bought here and you sell here, you're up 165%. And if you sell up here, you're up like 200%. So there's a difference of like 40% or 50%, which on the bigger picture, that's easy money if you're just holding and then just buying and selling whenever the MERC score tells you to buy and sell. It's quite simple. So let's go back. Let's look at the MRC score and see where we're trading. Well, we are currently at right below a number 2. Now we want to sell at 7. So 7 is here. Now we want to look at sells when price hits this level. Now we also have to take into if I said short, if you want to short this, I didn't mean, I probably meant long. Sorry about that. Anyway, guys, before I continue, let me know. Are you trading Bitcoin? Are you interested in the crypto market? Are you even trading Bitcoin or crypto? Let me know. Are you mostly trading Forex or mostly Bitcoin? Because for me, Bitcoin is like close to the heart. That's what I started with. I'm mostly trading Forex, but definitely trading crypto and Bitcoin as well. So let me know in the comments if you are mostly Forex traders or Bitcoin traders. It's really going to help me get an idea of what type of educational content you guys want to see as well. We have a long way to the upside. However, let's look at the net unrealized profit and loss. Now, this, we're actually in belief denial. I mean, not belief, we're in denial. So, no, that should be belief, right? Yeah, belief. So when we enter euphoria, that's when we want to start selling. So we don't have a lot of, we don't have too much movement to the upside before net unrealized profit and loss hits that red zone. So we got to be careful, right? So from a on-chain analysis perspective, yes, we do have room to the upside. However, remember that this strategy has worked 100% of the time since like 2012. Okay, which means it's probably not going to work 100% of the time in the future, because I'm giving you guys this. I'm showing you guys this. And there's something called alpha decay, right? If everyone knows about this, it's going to stop working. So you have to take that into consideration. The more people that knows about this, the less likely the price is even going to hit this zone. Okay? So what do you do in this scenario? You have to have that back in your head. Look at this. These highs from 2014 is higher than the highs from 2018. And the highs from 2021 are lower. God damn it, I'm saying higher. I meant lower. So you're obviously seeing this, in my opinion, is a visual representation of alpha decay. So where will the top be next time? Maybe we're only going to hit 6. There's definitely a big possibility that we're only going to hit 6. So once the MVRVC score hits this zone right here, I'm going to be careful. I'm going to watch price action closely for potential sell. So let's go to the charts. Let's see what we might see here. By the way, I'm getting an alert on Euro AD. I have to check that one. All right, Euro AD is breaking out. The 1 hour candle closes in 28 minutes. We got the 15 minute is closing in 13 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna take a trade here. Euro AD. Sorry if I'm interrupting the whole idea here with Bitcoin, but you know we're trading, which means I'm usually doing this. See if I have the. I'm very rarely trading directly within MetaTrader. I'm always doing this through TradingView and then using a trade copier to copy all the trades to MetaTrader, and I'm going to show you how I have that set up as well in another webinar. So Euro AD, and then to let's see where I have. What's the template? Do you have that template on this one? Yeah. So we got Euro AD. Got that one up. On this trade, I'm probably only going to risk like 0.25. Gonna enter everything. Right, I think we have time. We have time before this would be a trade. So I'm just going to put an alert down here for possible break and retest, because we want to have at least a 50-minute candle closing, and then probably like, so maybe in 20 minutes we'll have a trade on this one. So we'll see. Okay, back to Bitcoin. So from a price action perspective on Bitcoin, now I think that it's highly likely that, of course, because these are like the previous highs. This is a high time frame resistance for Bitcoin, right? I actually think it's highly likely that we're gonna get a major rejection up in this area, and a lot of people will call this the end of the bull market. And we're probably going to see, I mean, I'm talking like I know what's going to happen. Obviously I have no idea what's going to happen, but I do see it's a highly probable scenario that this level will act as a strong support. Why am I saying that? Well, if price hits this level while also the MVRVC score comes up and hits 6, or the net unrealized profit and loss comes into the red area, there might actually be a possibility, because there's nothing that says that Bitcoin has to always, be in this major uptrend where it just continues upwards like this just indefinitely. Like we have no idea. There's nothing that really tells us that will happen. What we might see, let's switch to the log chart here, and you'll understand what I'm saying here. Like I would like to say that there's some clear change in behavior for Bitcoin at this point. I think that what we're seeing is on the bigger picture, we have momentum is most definitely slowing down on the bigger time frames. The shift in behavior I'm seeing is a shift towards perhaps less volatility and more of a high time frame ranging structure. So we might actually see something like this, where we could be ranging within this general zone for quite a while. So this move to the upside took us let's see, 400, let's say 450 days, right? We might see something like a rejection up in this area, and another move to the downside, and that might take 6 months as well, or even a year. So we've been, from the bottom up here, it's well over a year now, and we might see a secondary trend that could be like 6 months long, and that would, in my opinion, be a new bull market. I mean, a bear market. So I think for Bitcoin, we might not see that explosive movement to the upside that's everyone's waiting for. I mean, most people seems to be waiting for that 100K, and I do agree that from my way of analyzing the charts using the RL said, I do have an idea of 100K. So let's add that 100K here. I do have an idea of seeing this move from the long RL set to the short RL set up here. So the long reload zone to the extension reload zone, if you will. And that's definitely that's the best case scenario for Bitcoin to just completely break out and have the volatility of the 2017 move, which is very unlikely, but there is a possibility for that happening. However, if Bitcoin breaks out here, if Bitcoin breaks above these highs while the MVRVC score is in the red area and the net unrealized profit and loss is in capitulation phase, it's highly, highly likely that it's going to fake out and then just go way lower and back inside this potential high time frame range, and that will, in my opinion, be the end of the bull market. But that's not all. What we want to do is we want to make sure that market structure on the daily is we're looking at the market structure on the daily before we exit. So usually what I want to look for is a break in market structure and perhaps also a daily open and close below the daily 50 EMA. So let me show you exactly what that would look like. Right, you trade Bitcoin mostly. That's interesting, and you're looking at two FX pairs. So I guess you're because you're looking at two FX pairs, you're probably trading more of a intraday lower time frame style, because you're looking at only two pairs, I guess. Right. This is great because I'm also trading Forex as well, but I'm looking at Bitcoin and trading Bitcoin and the overall crypto market with the exact same system as I'm using in the Forex market. It's going to be very interesting to sharing that with you guys and seeing the results that you might get if you tried something similar, or at least develop something on your own based on the stuff that I'm going to teach you here. So we go to the daily here, and we know that. So let's use the replay function here. And let's play the previous bull market to see how could we have timed the bottom of the previous bull market, and then we'll use the exact same method for this bull market. So again, we're going to look at the MVRVC score, and we're going to ask ourselves, when did we enter the red zone? We entered the red zone. Why is it not working? We entered the red zone. When was it? Around February the 20th, 2021. That's going to be here. So we know that this is when Bitcoin enters the red zone of the MVRVC score. Now, what we want, remember I said we enter the MVRVC score and we break daily market structure, and preferably with that break of structure, we also want to close, open and close a daily candle below the daily 50 EMA. So remember, this was when Bitcoin entered the MVRVC score. It then exited it here, reclaimed the daily 50. So let's just, for the sake of this experiment, let's say we entered somewhere here, or even on that breakout, like below these highs right here. So around 10K. So let's move forward and let's see. Now having that insane run, we have our bags filled and we're like, holy shit, this is going great. And now Bitcoin enters the MVRVC score. And now we want to be very, very careful with how we trade this. We don't want to exit too early in case Bitcoin just absolutely explodes to the upside. We want to make sure we wait until there's a breakup structure. So far, so good. Like now we have that move to the upside. We have a good trend going. We have a high, a low, a high, and a low. So we have higher highs and higher lows. If this structure can break, and these two movements, like the behavior of these moves look very similar. If that behavior can change, we might want to look at exiting when Bitcoin goes below the daily 50 EMA. Equal highs. Okay, first time in this trend that we're getting equal highs. Might look like we're entering a range here. And that's the first daily open and close below the daily 50 EMA. Is it breaking structure? Yeah, I would say it's breaking structure. You could have a trend line being drawn, something like this. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. You have this trend going here. Equal highs, a clear fake out in that all-time high region, and then a strong move to the downside below the daily 50 MA. So let's say we sell the position on that candle close right there. We entered here using the same technique and we're selling up here. Now this is a big move, okay? That's a 370% move. And it's actually quite safe because you're entering in an area where you have good invalidation levels to the downside. Like here, for example, you might want to enter here. You might want to enter here where we kind of like broke above this whole structure right here. And then you have good invalidations level here. Or if you entered here after this bounce, you have a very good invalidation level here. So the risk to reward of this trade would be quite insane, actually. Let's say you entered on that breakout with stop loss below these lows. Now this is a 20% stop loss, so you would lose 20% of your position if you hit that stop loss. But the risk to reward is just insane, right? It's an 18-hour trade. It's you're risking 20% to win 377%, almost 380%. How long would you have to hold this? 266 days. So that's it. That's my overall strategy for trying to pinpoint the bottoms and the highs for Bitcoin. And it's surprisingly simple, and I think all of you can easily use the same methods of analyzing the markets to get a good idea of when it's time to exit your exit your Bitcoin positions, right? And even if you're not holding Bitcoin long term, if you're trading Bitcoin more actively, this is also a great way of knowing when it's time to accelerate to the upside or maybe add risk to the upside. Or it's important to know if there is a big possibility that the bull run is ending, maybe you shouldn't long that resistance, right? Maybe you should wait till that resistance gets hit, wait for rejection, and look at getting in on the new bear trend that's probably starting. All right, let me know if you have any questions on what I've just showed you. So to recap this, the first tool is called the MVRVC score, and you can just Google the name and you will find it. The second tool is called the net unrealized profit and loss. And basically, with the MVRVC score, you want to be buying when it's in the green zone and you want to sell when it's in the red zone. And you also have to take into account that the highs are getting lower and lower. So you might not hit the red zone the next time. You might be just be happy with number 6 hitting. So the MVRVC score, the price of Bitcoin hitting the value 6. And the net unrealized profit and loss is probably going to get closer to Euphoria. But the most important one here is the MBRVC score. And then what you want to do is you want to combine these with price action, specifically market structure analysis and the daily 50 EMA. So you want to focus on the daily. You want to focus on the daily trend. I will see if I can get something for you on this. So for me, it's because I'm coming from the world of trading crypto. I when I started trading Forex in I believe it was 2018. Yeah, so 18. MetaTrader was new to me, so I'm like, I got to find a way to keep on trading with TradingView and just copy all my trades over via MetaTrader. And there's a few trading copiers out there that can help you. So I'll see if I can get something for you here. So yeah, that's basically it. MBRC score, net unrealized profit and loss, market structure, and daily 50 MA. And the daily market structure here is the most important market structure. And then you want to look for daily open and closes below or above the daily 50 MA based on if you're going long or short. All right, that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. We have about 15 minutes left, so that's some good time to see if we might find a couple of trades here. So we have Euro AUD. I think that's the most important one, the most interesting one right here. Look at Euro JPY. We had that level, so that level is as you can see here been used as support. We never really broke that level to the downside. Yeah, I'm not liking this. Not liking this. But what's good, a good thing about that bounce is the fact that we now have a lower high, and we can play like that is now a good invalidation level. So what I'm thinking is this looks interesting. That might be a decent trade. Yeah, let's add an alert down here to see if we can kind of break it to the downside. So what I'm using when I'm copying all my trades is I'm connected to. So there is some problems with the when copying trades, because you have I connect to a demo account on Oanda, and the reason why I'm using a demo account is because I can just adjust the balance of the demo account to more fit the overall, because I have a lot of different accounts of trading, so you can fit the overall balance of these accounts to make sure that the risk, when it's copying the risk, it's not like completely different. So here with the 160k account on the fibers, I want to make sure that I have a demo account that's like close to that one, to make sure that the risk is correct. And one thing that's very important, I'm going to cover this if I do cover how to set up the copy trading. One thing that's very important to understand is the fact that not every exchanges are available on TradingView, so the prices might be different and the spreads are very different. Now, the fibers have incredibly tight spreads. We have insanely tight spreads. And on the other hand, not the best. All right. So if you're scalping, you probably want to do that within MetaTrader, because the prices and the spreads are just so different. So you'll easily be taking out of the trade on the Oanda when scalping, but on the fibers you'll most likely be you'll be staying in. But with the fact that get your JPY here has below two spread, and the way this trade is looking, we could take this trade as a sort of a scalp trade within TradingView, and then it's going to get copied over. Let's look at the Euro AD. Let's see. I kind of want to enter a trade here. So look at the 15 minutes. The 15-minute did close. Does everything look good here? Yeah, it does look like we're breaking above that range EQ, where the 1 hour looks good. The 1 hour is going to close in 9 minutes. I think it would be best to wait for the 1 hour, because like imagine if I enter orders right now and then the 1 hour just closes down here, and it's going to be a clear, and it's going to be a clear fake out. We don't want to see a fake out like that. We want to make sure that we're patient, and I feel like I'm not very patient right now because I want to enter this trade right away. So let's be patient. Let's give this another 8 minutes, and if it happens, I probably want to enter here. Where would I take profit? I'm gonna front run that level just a little bit, something like that. I would like to give this trade enough room. Let's look at the economic news calendar. Do we have anything coming up here? Today, no. What about tomorrow? Really? Nothing tomorrow? It's weird. Could be something. Let's look at so dailyfx.com has a pretty good economic news calendar. So I'm using the one in TradingView, but I think this one is better, honestly. Is this today? All right, so it says tomorrow, but it says January the 9th. Maybe I should reload this page. Well, I'm not trading that one. All right, Mexico, Canada. Yeah, okay, so we got nothing tomorrow. Good, great. The reason why I'm looking at today and tomorrow, or the whole week actually, is when I'm taking a swing trade, because I'm, depending on the setup I'm seeing, if I'm taking a swing trade based on a 4 hour, I'm going to be in that for probably a couple of days, maybe even a week. I want to make sure that I'm not entering like the day before the FOMC or the CPI numbers or something like that, because that's just going to destroy any technical analysis that I did the day before, most likely. So we're gonna trade on Euro 80 and possibly also Euro JPY. Not looking very likely at this point, but these are the twos I'm watching right now. And I'm just going to place an order on Euro 80 based on the 1 hour close. The problem here is that we're looking at two trades on Euro, which means we have double exposure. Well, actually, one is short and one is long. But usually what I want to do when I have two pairs with the same currency is I want to divide risk up between them. Or just choose the one I have the most conviction in, which at this point is Euro 80. Because, yeah, I'm not really liking Euro JPY. I think Euro 80 looks better. All right, another one, we got AD CAD. AD CAD, we never really broke down, but this is again, this is a decent idea here on AD CAD. I have my alerts, probably might go off later today. But what I do is I have these alerts, I get them to my smartwatch here, and I get the alert, and if there's something important, I get a run down to the office. And that's the beauty of having the office at home, right? I can and I'm a crypto trader as well, so it's like 24/7. It's beautiful. I wake up 5 in the morning with an alert, and I'm like, you gotta run down to the office, you gotta take a trade, Bitcoin is mooning. And then when you're about to go to bed, there's like another alert. It's like, you gotta short Euro USD. It's a fantastic lifestyle. All right, so AD CAD, we got AD NCD. I think this trade is gone. But again, we have a great opportunity for breaking retest higher. So I used the reload zone when analyzing Bitcoin. I talked about reload zone, how it was the area between the 0.786 fib and the 0.618 fib. And I use this one in trading this system as well. So what I want to do is I want to use so this is a break breakout or a breakdown, if you will, a break to the downside. And this is the very local high prior to the move to the downside. So this is the area where I want to anchor my fib. And for those of you who don't really know how to use the fib, when you're looking for shorts, you always begin by anchoring your fib at the top and moving it to the bottom, and always moving the fib forward in time. Otherwise, you're going to get it wrong. So from the top to the bottom. And now we have the reload zone perfectly right there at the breakdown level. And I have different templates right here. And I also want to go through some of these fib templates that I have. It's a really good tool to have these different templates. For example, I have one template, you've already seen it, the range template, where I want to mark out a range. Well, it's basically as the 1, the 0, and the 0.5 fib, and that looks like this to just get that range. And then the fib template that I use mostly is the reload zone plus the 50, and then I've also marked out the 0 and the 1 to kind of make it very clear where the highs and the lows anchor are. If I would not be, trading live or streaming, I would just have the reload zone on the 50. But for you guys, I want to make very clear where I have the fib anchor point. So now the setup here is very clear. What I want to do is I want to trade this as a break and retest system. I want price to come up here, and I want price to form a bearish engulfing candle. And I think this looks very good on the 1 hour. Preferably, I would want to see price trade down here for a couple of more 4-hour candles, and then like trade this based on the 4-hour, because that's my bread and butter. Doing this setup on the 4-hour, that's what I mostly do, and I really like it because it gives me a lot of time and a lot of room for error with the setups. It slightly less risk to reward ratio on the trades, but from a mental perspective, way less stressful. But on the 1 hour, I think this just looks very, very good. So basically what we had here is, you can look at the daily. So what we're seeing here is a, I'm not really sure if I guess I gotta be bearish on this for the reason that we broke below this high time frame level right here. So we're now we broke below a level on the daily. We have fairly strong momentum to the downside. We have we broke below a range here on the 4-hour. So we broke below that range, and we formed a 1-hour range below that 4-hour range right here. And what we're seeing now is a break below that 1-hour range, and that's the range lows that I'm looking to trade. So basically a break and retest of range lows. And I think we can make this zone much more compact. So you see that usually when I'm drawing my zones, I want to for this example, I want the low of this zone is like it's right in the middle of nowhere. I want it to be, I want more wicks and more price action to be reacting to this level. These wicks right here, I'm in this scenario, I'm just going to ignore those. I think this level here looks much cleaner. At least looks better. And when I'm adding horizontal levels to my chart, I think it's very important for me to it needs to visually look good. It needs to make sense. Sometimes I'm seeing traders add levels and boxes all over the place, but it makes no sense according to price action. And for me, that's very, very important. So here, I think price might actually go higher. And there's also a concept that I use where you have the like, where is the actual level that broke, the most recent level that broke, and it got to be this one. It got to be like the midpoint of this horizontal level. And you see, this is the candle, thrust candle, if you will, the candle that broke the level, and it really was when this level broke, right? I think this is the important level. So if we can get an entry somewhere around here, that would be just fantastic, with stops above the highs. And the higher our entry is, the tighter our stop loss can be, or the higher the risk to reward of the trade is going to be, and we can be a little bit more flexible with the risk to reward. So here, given the fact that the first idea we looked at was a move down here, and that would work, right? It's a very high risk to reward trade. It's a 5R, and honestly, I'm not. When I see high R trades like 5R, 6R, 7R, I'm thinking like maybe it's too high. It's not, the chance that's going to play out is quite small. However, the chance that this is going to play out, a 2R trade, it seems quite much higher, much higher, because most of the time what you'll see is people enter on the break and retest, and it's like confirmed that you have a rejection here, and then they want to ride it for as long as possible down here. So when you hit that last local high, the last local low, I mean, you move stops to entry, and then you see something like this, and then boom, straight down. Well, obviously price doesn't go back in time, but you know what I'm saying. So you have price coming up, you enter, hit that low, you move stops to entry, because now you're thinking like, I have a free trade, I can't lose money on this. And then market comes, takes your stop at entry, and you're like, well, at least it's now, I didn't lose any money. And then it moves something like this, and then straight down. And you're going to be looking at the chart down here, and you're going to be like, holy shit, why did I exit this trade? But the thing is, a lot of times you'll be better off just taking the profit. Just take the profit. This is this is what I would call, and not something I would call, I think a lot of people call it the first trouble area, the FTA. And usually what that means is it's the area where you're expecting price, or where you're expecting your idea to run into trouble. If you're getting an entry here, where is your first trouble area? This is your first trouble area. That's where you want to take profits. All right, Euro AD. Yeah, kind of feels like I'm left behind on this one. So what happened here was price definitely front ran this level right here, where I was looking to place my orders. If we had a horizontal right here on like that high, you'll see that it did hit that level. But I'm not sure if the risk to reward or the actual technicals of that entry would be good enough, because I would have to have my stop loss like here to make that worth it. And from a technical perspective, looking at the 15-minute and the 1 hour, I think that stop loss might be slightly too tight for my liking. I think that entry still somewhere down in this area looks much better, and then I can have a much wider stop loss, still have about 2R trade. I would be able to have my stop loss all the way below that wick right there, giving me way more room. All right, thanks for joining, Thomas. I'm just gonna look at a couple of pairs more, and then I'm done. I really wanted to get in a trade today here live, but it's so yeah, this is a good question. So the way I've developed the system is I've basically tested many different things. Where do I think the stop loss should be? And also, I don't really look at it as stop hunts, or in the sense of liquidity. I look at it from purely, a price action perspective, and I make rules of where do I want that stop loss to be placed. And that's also a reason why I always wait for confirmation. If I have confirmation, I there's a bigger chance that price. So let me put it like this. So you have the trend, basically like higher highs and higher lows. See if I can get a better picture of that. So you have the higher highs and higher lows. And if, let's say, price breaks out. So price breaks out here and price is coming lower, and I place orders on that level. So let's say I place orders without waiting for confirmation. So I'm going to place my orders here, and I'm going to place my stop loss down here. And then price just goes straight through and kind of wicks me out like this. By waiting for confirmation, I wouldn't have entered orders here. So instead, what I do is you have that level, and then I have confirmation here with like a bullish engulfing candle. So I enter here with stops down here and then TP up here. Now the risk to reward will of course be lower when waiting for confirmation, but I now have a very good idea that because of the fact that price, and if there is a stop hunt, it usually comes before the confirmation. So it usually comes down, maybe wicks out the people that have stops up here, and then it reclaims that level and confirms the trade. So by waiting for that confirmation, usually if there is a stop hunt or whatever you want to call it, it usually happens before you get the confirmation. I'm actually still kind of liking this. I'm gonna keep my alert here to see if I might have a trade. Let's look at Euro JPY. Let's look at where we had that rejection on the 5-minute here. So we had the rejection. Looks like we had it inside the reload zone. Yeah, you see price comes up here, and that wick just touched the mid-zone of the reload zone very nicely. I'm thinking we might have some sort of trending move that might look something like this, and our idea would still be valid if that's the case. Would still be going for this setup, maybe slightly higher stop loss, maybe up here for a 2-hour trade. Let's see. I have my alert down here for another breakout. See if we can enter that one. Right, let's look at Euro CAD. Nothing here. 80 NCD. Well, 80 NCD is now not coming higher. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you guys something. Remember we looked at a scalp trade on GBP JPY yesterday, and we talked about how when you get the idea that when you have a setup like this one. So remember, this was the trade we looked at yesterday in yesterday's live stream. And we had a trade where we could have gotten 1.4R. And I said, like, this looks like a good level to the downside. It's a 4-hour trade, very, very good. So what we might want to do is we might want to enter on that bearish engulfing candle and then move stops to entry when that level is hit. And that's what a lot of people do. Now, usually what I want to do is I want to exit here again, because that's the FTA, that's the first trouble area. And the reason for that is very simple. More often than not, you're just going to get something like this. And look what happened. So in my opinion, I think it's just better to take the money and run. If the market hands you a bag of cash, you're not just going to move your stops to entry. Just take the money and run. And then we had, I'm going to look at GJ again, the current price action. Then we also had USD JPY. Remember, we looked at a short on GBP JPY. We missed that one. We looked at another short on USD JPY. We did not get an entry trigger on this one. But yesterday, I remember talking about how it could be a good thing to enter two JPY pairs at the same time with basically the same, at the same time with the same setups, because you're basically diversifying your risk between two assets with the same setup. So what I talked about is like entering USD JPY and GBP JPY at the same time. GBP JPY, if you follow the idea of exiting at FTA, would have been, man, what am I doing? I'm all over the place. The GBP JPY would have been profitable, while the USD JPY would have also been profitable. But if you moved your stops to entry on GBP JPY, that would have been a break-even trade, but the USD JPY would be quite profitable. So if you only took one, you might have some bad luck just taking GBP JPY and not making any money. And then you see this, just breaking to the downside and hitting that target to the downside. So sometimes obviously having lower targets work, but even with this trade, this would have been a 2.5R trade at that FTA, and I would have taken that trade any day of the week. I would rather have a 2.5R trade at the FTA or a 5R trade lower, because when you're looking at targets below support and below multiple support levels, it becomes infinitely less probable to work out. So I would just, I would argue that it's much better to just trade from level to level. Much simpler as well. All right, guys, that's today's live stream. I will be going live the same time tomorrow. Hopefully you like today's live stream. Hopefully the information I gave you about Bitcoin is valuable. And I'm also continuously going to update you guys during these live trading sessions on the MVRVC score and the net unrealized profit and loss. So you don't really, you don't really have to look at it yourself. You just look at me. Yeah, just look at me. All right, guys, I love you all. Thanks for joining today. And don't forget to join tomorrow, the exact same time, the same place. Take care, everyone, and hope you guys are having a fantastic, it's Tuesday, a fantastic Tuesday. Thank you all.